Sports.
It is All In Bets coming at you with good news. We're going to make you some money. Cory Dickman is back again this week.
Yeah.
Benjamin Bets, it was called. Now it's All In Bets. It's still Benjamin Bets to me because Cory's on the dollar bill, baby.
I'm on the dollar bill. They put me on there.
Well, all right, let's recap.
Reprinted. Okay, recap. Am I recapping? Or are you going to recap for me?
No, you're recapping.
Oh, I'm recapping. Gotcha. All right, Pete. This is how we do it. So we have some losses. We might have last week. But like we say, we come here, we're going to talk about it. Now, we still went 2-1 in college. Yeah. We went 1-1 in the NFL, and then we did miss the mortgage. However,
I heard about that, by the way.
It was well, we'll go through it here. But before we get started, Pete, I think when we know we're trending in the right direction is when our wins, they're massive wins. We're not sweating these games out at all. The losses always come down to just these last minute or just unlucky fourth quarters. And I think that says we're trending in the right direction. If I go 3-0, but they all were like last second stuff, I don't know if I'd feel as good as 2-1, but we just completely, go in the right direction on the wins and we're close on the losses. That makes sense.
The mortgage bet was brutal. You needed 4 points with all this time and never got it.
Oh, it was just so brutal. Stupid Aaron Rodgers. So, okay, let's recap. College. We had Alabama minus 2.5 going to LSU. You gave me the stink eye. You were like, I don't know. Bama won by 30. It wasn't even close. They slaughtered LSU because that was their winning in, Pete. Yep. Now they just got to beat the bad teams. They're in the playoff, like I said.
That was a great call by you.
Great call. And then, of course, I don't even know why we called this like a wager anymore on this team because it's more just like what it is, right? What's the old saying? Like you can say taxes, people dying, and UCLA covers the spread, right? Those are the things that are just guarantees in life. UCLA goes and wins the game. They just go win. They just go win. So again, we weren't sweating that at all. And then I want half credit. I tried to contact FanDuel on this game, Pete, and it didn't happen. You were very suspect of me picking BYU in the Utah game. I told you it was going to be close because these are two rivals in a very close proximity in the wild state of Utah. And I said, what did I say? I wish I had this clip from Scotty. I said BYU will cover the 2.5 with a game-winning field goal. I had the game-winning field goal right.
2.5.
It just wasn't 2.5. Now, it would have been if they had converted on that 2-point, when it was 21-19, BYU's going for 2 to tie. They miss it, and I knew at that point I was sunk. I knew at that point it was over.
Yeah.
And so, anyway, BYU still wins, but it did not cover. We go to the NFL. The Saints, the new coach theory clearly still works. I think you were a little uneasy with this pick against Atlanta. The Saints were getting 3.5 points, Pete, plus 3.5, and they go win the game by 3. And Young-Hoo Koo, a fellow Korean, I am half Korean, so I claim Young-Hoo Koo, he should have been released. He missed so many field goals in that game, but it was good because we won the bet, so that was awesome. The Vikings,
and by the way, inside too.
Inside,
that
you
stinks.
cannot. And Koo, that's a division game, so he's kicked in that dome many times
for sure.
He should be completely, and he's an awesome field goal kicker. Just had a bad day. The Vikings, this one just really sucked the life out of me because they are a much better team than the Jaguars. This game started like 3-0. The Jaguars score, so it's 7-3 Jags, which I'm like, shoot, we need the Vikings to cover this, by 6.5. If you had told me, Pete, the Jaguars were not going to score again, if you said, Cory, they're only going to put up 7 points, I would have told you, dude, let's put more money on this. I would have done a halftime bet for more money on that 6.5. The Vikings, just 3 picks by Darnold, 2. Well, really, all of them were like near the red zone or in the red zone. 2 of them were like on the 10-yard line, like just brutal. Sam Darnold just killed it. And yet the Vikings still had a chance to cover this spread. They missed a 2-point conversion, or they were all field goals. Sorry, 4 field goals. They win by 5. It was embarrassing. They almost covered this by just a terrible offensive performance.
Yes.
So I know that was a loss, but goodness, it shouldn't have been. And then we go to the mortgage, which if you're on the street right now, if you're in a cardboard box, you can blame me. Cam's Patriots, we didn't pick them outright or pick the game. We just said under 41 points.
Yep.
That Patriot defense or Caleb Williams is inept maybe the offensive coordinator who's now fired for the Bears. They put up 3 points. The Patriots did their part, put up 19, still was under 41. By a mile, it was under 41 points, which is what we had. And then the one that's the backbreaker. The backbreaker was this over 41.5 Arizona playing the Jets. Just awful, Pete. It was 31-6 going into the fourth quarter, right? So let's do math. How many points is that?
That's 37.
That's 37. We needed 4 points in the whole fourth quarter.
I got a text from my man, Chris Northington, Nordo. He was so pumped about the mortgage,
Yeah. He was going to make his mortgage. I feel terrible for their family right now that they're out on the street. Sorry, Chris. It should have hit, and the score stayed 31-6. It just we didn't get a cheapy Jets touchdown. We didn't get another touchdown from.
By the way, you don't
Cardinals.
have to worry about Chris. You got to worry about Taina. That's
let's
his
worry
wife.
about Taina. Yeah, and Rodgers, he was in. I mean, Adams had a terrible game. Garrett Wilson didn't play very well. The Jets are just a mess. But like 31-6, I would have thrown more money on that if But anyway, so. Enough with the recap. That's where we ended last week. Overall records 15-8-1 in college, so still doing incredibly well there. Mortgage 4-2, so we're still we're way ahead there still. And then 11-2, 11 wins, 12 losses, and just straight up
11 and wait, hold on, 11
and 12.
Yeah.
Did I mean it? I didn't.
You said 11 and 2. Yes, you did. You know, you said
11 and 12. Sorry, but we'll get above that here this week. So.
All right, let's get on.
Are we ready?
Let's do it. I'm
Okay.
actually pretty pumped.
All right, here we go. Game of the week in college. What is it, Pete? You tell me, and then I'll tell you what I have.
I'm going to say something Big 12. So just what do you got?
Why do you always say something Big 12?
Yeah.
Was Colorado Tech, was that the game of the week last week?
It was for me. I mean, you would probably say, I like Utah, Colorado this week. But
Utah, Colorado,
Yeah.
Well, maybe you can give a prediction there. I did not pick that game. Number 6, Tennessee traveling to Georgia.
Yeah, that is the game of the week. There's no question.
If Georgia loses, Pete, are they done? Are they out?
Yes.
They're out. They're done.
Yes.
Georgia, like how could they can't be done? So
you can't have 3 losses and go to the play. There's no way, even if you're in the SEC and even if you're Georgia.
The Volunteers traveling to Athens. I don't know who's going to win, but I tell you, Pete, there's going to be more than 47.5 points scored in this game. They are going to.
I have 48.5, just so you know.
You have 48.5.
Yeah.
Well, I'll take 48.5. That's fine. That's a little more sketchy.
Well, I mean, honestly, but it means that the bettors are with you. Obviously,
they are. They're going up. You got a team that Georgia can put up points. Their backs against the wall. This isn't going to be a defensive battle. They're the score. Over 48.5 will take your line there, Pete.
Okay.
Give me the over. Then I hesitate going back to this but I look at it and you tell me what I'm missing here, Pete.
Okay.
The Kansas Jayhawks traveling to BYU.
Yeah.
BYU favored by 2.5. Is this a trap? I want to take BYU. What am I missing here?
Well, Kansas is a house of fire right now, and they're running the ball so well.
Okay.
That. And they're very talented. This was a team that was a top 20 team coming into the season. And for whatever reason, it took them a while, but they have found their stride.
Ooh.
And so they're a dangerous opponent to play. I feel like now with the number continues to go down, it was 3 yesterday. Now it's 2.5. And look at it this way, Vegas, right? You get 2.5 points for just being the road team. So it's like, is this a pick 'em?
Now I'm scared.
Yeah. But let's go with it.
Let's go with it, baby.
Yeah.
BYU Cougs. Utah needs something to cheer for. They're going to win this game by a field goal. BYU minus 2.5. Give me the Cougars.
All right. By the way, Kansas it's become the sexy underdog pick of the week to the point where it's almost it's almost flopped. Like BYU, it's BYU again is a smart play.
Yeah. Whenever that is totally, and just in sports in general, right? When too many people start getting on the underdog, you give way too much bulletin board material for the favorite team there, because then all of a sudden they're not the favorite anymore, right? Because they're too much praise on the underdog. And then, Pete, is there a question? I think we need to start doing this segment of which 2 college games am I going to pick, and then UCLA. Because, again, they're until they're a favorite in one of these games, I'm going to keep riding them. Again, I've used the analogy of the craps table, right? If you're going to Vegas, you're shooting craps. If there's a shooter, if you're rolling the dice and you're hot, people flock to that table because it's something about the dice and the momentum and all of the stuff plays into it. So UCLA plus
on the road. On the road.
On the road against an old Pac-12 foe, the Washington Huskies. This is not the Washington Huskies team, Pete, that went to the title game. This team is on life support. UCLA traveling up to Washington, 4.5 points. So UCLA still doesn't even have to win this game.
See, this is also, I worry about your family too, because it's 8:00. Lauren might want to do something on a Saturday night.
No.
And all you're going to be doing is trying to watch Fox.
And that's fine because she has her UCLA jersey now. I have my UCLA jersey. My son Ellis has his UCLA jersey. We're UCLA people now. So we don't mind staying up until midnight watching this game. UCLA plus 4.5. And you know what? Maybe take them outright. If you're noticing the trends, for the sake of the record, I'm not going to, but UCLA plus 4.5.
Okay.
We got to keep riding them, Pete.
All right. So we got our college wrapped up, moved to NFL.
All right. NFL. You know, just because I love Cam Stewart, host of the Cam Show and Baylor Locked On, all the things. Rams at Patriots.
Yeah.
I think Drake May is the guy. He is playing so well right now. I don't like to talk about my fantasy team a lot, although I do very well in fantasy. I have a quarterback problem right now. Guess who I'm playing this week? I'm streaming Drake May. Pats plus 4.5. Rams at Pats. They're gonna win the game. The Patriots are gonna win this game, but I'll take Pats plus 4.5. You're gonna give me 4.5.
By the way, I'm gonna give you 5 because
you're gonna 5. It's already at 5.
Yeah, that's what the number is right now.
I watched this Rams team against the Seahawks. Wasn't impressed. The Seahawks gave them the game. We played like poop, and that was a miracle that they even won that game by 6 because of that stupid game-winning touchdown. And then last week not performing. So give me the Patriots plus 4.5, Pete. That feels like a lock to me.
All right, Patriots plus 4.5.
All right. Now we're traveling. Atlanta. Pete, I can't read my handwriting. Who are they playing here? Who is Atlanta
They're playing the Broncos.
The Broncos. I was like, what does Braun mean? They're playing Bronny James. Yeah. Atlanta and Broncos minus 2.5. They let a division game just slip through their fingers, and they could have given the Chiefs their first loss of the season. They squandered it. The field goal gets blocked. It was terrible. The Broncos come back this week, and they get the W. Minus 2.5. They win this game by 3 in altitude.
So you're sort of telling me that the party's for Kirk Cousins, it's slowing down.
It's slowing down. Dude, Pete, Kirk is a guy that comes out the gate strong, and then he starts to taper off as it goes. That's just who he is, right? And I love a good Kirk Cousins, but he falters here at Denver. Denver's a team. Like Knicks is playing well. They can win this game by 2.5. They want to have a comeback here after the debacle last week.
By the way, Kirk Cousins is 36 years old.
He's 36.
Keep that in mind.
I'm telling you, I mentioned last week on the show. I think my wife would, if Kirk wasn't married, I don't know. All right. Ready for the mortgage. Ready for redemption time. I wish we need a graphic, Scotty. Redemption. Cincinnati traveling to the Chargers. Much has been made about this Bengals game this week, Pete, of like, this is if they don't win this, they're out.
Yeah.
Kind of deal, right?
But they're rallying now.
They're rallying.
Right? Yeah.
And Joe Burrow, my goodness. Him and Chase are just on another level right now. Last week, Chase had 3 touchdowns. Just crazy. The Chargers, under Harbaugh, they're a different Chargers team. This isn't the one from 2 years ago or 3 years ago. So they're good. The defense is the top defense in the NFL. But the Bengals are back against the wall. And whenever you can get a good team, or at least a team that has a good quarterback and a good receiving core with a back against the wall, and they're underdogs, let's throw them in a tease, baby. So they're at plus 1.5. We're getting them at plus 6.5 on our 2-team teaser here for the mortgage. Plus 6.5, Bengals. Like, they're probably just going to win the game. But plus 6.5 gives us some cushion for a weird ending to the game, right?
Yes.
So plus 6.5, Bengals. Then I try to stay away, but there's something I feel it with this game. I don't know why. The Seahawks, my Hawks, traveling to the Niners. We have been getting our teeth kicked in by these Niners for the last few years. It's time for redemption. We're going to get this win because we're going to keep it interesting.
Get the win.
We're going to get the win, but this is why this is the mortgage bet, Pete, because we're not making bets here. These are closer to sure things. So Seahawks are going to get the win in San Francisco. But for the mortgage and the tease, we're going to get the Seahawks at plus 11.5. So many points, just in case I'm wrong that they lose the game. 11.5 points gives us a ton of cushion here because, again, we are what, Pete? We are just paying the mortgage. So we're not trying to get risky here with this stuff.
Well, we are getting risky because we're taking a quarterback who's got 11 touchdowns and 10 interceptions.
Hey, Gino, we're getting DK back this week.
Okay.
And Jack JSN, he's on another level. He's playing really well. Gino just don't turn over the ball, Gino. That's been Gino's thing for 3 years. Just don't turn over the ball, man. Yeah. He looks like a JV quarterback getting called up to varsity, and like he's running around like he doesn't know what he's doing half the time. Gino, just like take a breath, Gino. Hand the ball off to Walker
and keep it under 11 points.
Oh man, keep it under 11. Gino will be fine. All right. Pete, don't worry about Gino. Don't worry about Gino. I may be petitioning for Gino to maybe take a back seat, but for at least one more game, he'll be out there. So leading the league in passing.
Yeah,
there's that.
2,600 yards, pretty much.
There you go, Geno Smith. So that's it, Pete. Those are the picks. All in bets, formerly known Benjamin Bets. Maybe we'll bring it back.
What'd you think of the graphic I put up on the thumbnail last week?
It looked incredible. No, it's good. It's good, Pete. It drives. It makes me want to put more money on the games based on your thumbnail that you put on there.
All right, so you're going to be back next week to. First of all, it's called accountability.
It's accountability. Accountability. We're still doing really well. Now when we don't go perfect, I'm like, oh man, I got to go talk about a loss we had. So that when you're at that point, you're cooking. So we're excited. We're gonna go. Good luck this weekend. Be safe.
It's funny. I'm not going to do that. So Dan Ingham couldn't make it this week for his segment. Sure. So I told him, hey, well, that's no problem. I'll just put your name on a segment. We'll see you back here in person next week. Yeah. It's too risky to put his name on this segment because he's First National Bank of Central Texas. They don't call it gambling over there.
No, they don't call it gambling. But didn't Dan, he picked Atlanta last week?
He did.
What was that? And then our lovely producer Scotty, he said real big on Indiana. And I said in this room, Michigan. Now Michigan didn't win, but they covered the 14.5 points, right? Yeah. So I mean, we can get subs and we can do this or that, but I don't know if I'd trust other people. I'd be really careful.
Cory Dickman is cooking, folks. We'll see you back here next week with accountability, more picks, and probably more money. Thanks, Cory.